Durag Wisdom here again, and it's still 1 week after the coup, and this is a supplement to my other comment, very brief, or as brief as I possibly can. I know I get angry on these broadcasts sometimes, and it's really coming from my gut. It's coming from my heart. And as I've said many times, I've read 1984 more than 50, 60, maybe more times over my lifetime. And again, I've always said this, it helps me recognize totalitarian crap. I mean, you add to the propaganda techniques that we have, which includes name calling and the bandwagon. I mean, in 1984, you had the INGSOC, the philosophy of INGSOC, the principles of INGSOC, the mutability of the past, double think, and newspeak. The party slogan in that novel, 1984, war is peace, freedom is slavery, ignorance is strength. I don't understand, folks. I really do. I'm very upset. I got to tell you, it's eating my... You know, I take 100 mgs of sertraline every day for depression. That's Zoloft. And I certainly don't want to raise the medication. I'm trying to take as little of that garbage as I can to keep me on the edge off, they say. Once you increase that shit, excuse my French, then you have to stay on it at that dosage. You know, and I have to watch myself, because when I start experiencing my raw emotions, just look at it for a minute from how I see it. The election has to be challenged. It has to be overturned. That entire ticket that slime wants to bring in there with them. Pence, Giuliani, Schlange, Bannon, hate mongers, KKK, alt-right, the fringe. People don't even have any experience, because we want all outsiders. We don't want any professional politicians in there. Geez, when I go to a doctor's office, or if I go into a surgery, I want to have somebody in there, an outsider, cutting my guts open. I don't want one of these traditional doctors doing it. People think like being a professional politician is the easiest thing in the world. Well, you got to know the laws. You got to know, that's why I hate to say it, as much as I hate lawyers, they're the ones that have the most experience with dealing with law, which is about what we have to deal with to keep our failing country together. Now just look at this, folks. He wants to give his children charge of his business, his private business, those pernicious turds of his, and he wants to give them some, top secret information. Have their security increased 100%. What do you call mixing private business like him with our federal government? What do you call that? Fascism, folks. Flippin' fascism. Let me say, fascism. Fascism. All right? Now, now you can brush me aside. I don't have credentials as a professional journalist. I have my own credentials. But I understand, you could brush me aside. But I'm not going to allow fascism in my country. Look, I'm going to buy weapons for my house. I'm planning on buying some long guns, 2 or 3 long guns for my house, one for each floor. legally, Second Amendment, only from my house. I don't want to bring it out in the street, none of this garbage. Legal. Background check. Because you got a Nazi Bannon, he's got a Nazi Bannon running his private consultation, his Karl Rove, his brain, Trump's fascist little Hitler brain. You're going to allow you want to call me crazy. Well, again, getting back to what I was saying, and I know I've said briefly here, if you're going to allow it, and you're not going to protest this election, you're not going to contest this horrific election, you're going to allow this overt fascist to take over our country, I'm going to be ready for when his thugs, his Breitbart alt-right thugs, come to my door. That's why I'm going to have the weapons in here. Because this is one Jew bastard who they're not going to take alive. You hear that? If anybody who's alt-right looking at this cockeyed eye here and there, you're not going to get me without me getting a lot of you. Meanwhile, I'm hunkering down. I'm not, legally. And I'm waiting for the rest of you to stand up against this outrage. He's mixing his private business affairs with our government. He's supposed to put his private business into a blind trust. Are you going to let him get away with it? Not me.